What is good, my pack rats? I feel like I've been doing YouTube for a really long time and I've never gotten that honest feedback on the channel. And I had a wonderful opportunity to do this with Mort from Mort's Garage. Mort has recently seen some awesome success with a background in music production as well as working with Pixel Game Squad. This was the perfect opportunity to really peel back the curtain and get some tips and tricks on the channel from an outsider's perspective. If you're a YouTuber like me and you're looking to up your content, this video is absolutely essential to really dive into some of the intricacies that can help make your video better. In this video, Mort and I discuss editing techniques, we discuss pacing, and we discuss how to get a video off the ground quickly. If you are like me, you will absolutely enjoy what we had to talk about. Thank you so much, Mort, for this awesome experience, and I hope this helps you guys like it did me. Dude, welcome to a fresh new episode that I've never done before, and I'm ready to get smoked today by yours truly. Guys, this is Mort from Mort's Garage. Mort was so gracious enough to come onto my channel. If you guys have not seen his audit on his channel from Caleb at Phoenix Resale, he gave you some what we would call expert level advice, correct?
Yeah. Caleb's channel has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. His videos regularly push through 100,000 views, and he studies and knows the algorithm. And I was like, you've got to roast me, like, give it. Like,
yes,
yeah.
I felt like in this scenario, in our community here, this has to be a series that pays it forward. So when I was thinking about this, I was like, wait a minute. So Mort gets roasted, and we say roasted, but he really was helping you develop your channel and make better decisions on what you need to do. And I feel like I'm in a unique position with myself and my community that there's many YouTubers like me that we would kind of call ourselves like the mid card, right? We're working really hard. We're trying to make changes, but I've been doing this for 4 years against you with some fresh blood doing it for 1 year. And I feel that maybe there might be some more insights and some more helpful hints that you might latch onto now instead of my jaded self. So I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to bring you on and let you do the same thing to my channel, if you will.
I will.
Okay.
But I'm going to give a very clear disclaimer. Which,
yes. Fair.
Is, I think, important to say. I am by no means an expert. Everything that I'm saying is based on my experiences so far. I imagine I could watch this video 6 months from now, 2 days from now, you know, 2 days from now, and go, I can't believe I said that. Completely wrong.
Yeah.
Why didn't I accent more of that, etc. So this is what I've learned in the year-ish that I've been doing YouTube, which for me was February 20th of 2022. Excellent. And then just getting the fortunate breaks that I've had along the way. So one of which we shared the same thing, which was that we were both featured on a huge channel, Retro Rick. And my channel benefited greatly from that in terms of people coming in and sticking around. So I just want to make that really clear. Some of the things that I'm saying might just be like, really, you said that. Have some grace for me.
I'm telling everyone that they need to take it as a learning experience, and that you're just coming from a possibly different position than I am, and hopefully we learn together on this experience. But man, I am open. I am ready to have a peer-to-peer conversation about some cool things that I might need to change or keep doing things that maybe you decided that you loved when you were reviewing some of the content. But if you don't mind, I'd like to pass it off to you to maybe start with maybe some notes that you had.
Okay, well, so let's give the setup. I watched 4 of your videos, and I asked you to give me a couple very specific things. 2 of the videos you sent me were out of request of give me videos that you thought would do really well that did not do well. What people don't realize when you make a YouTube video, you spend a lot of hours making and crafting and putting all of that together. And so when you put it out and the metrics come back and show that either people tuned out or just didn't tune in at all to begin with, that can really mess with you. And I've seen some of your videos saying this is so frustrating and everything. And so I think that there's something about that that's really worth digging into, because I'm coming from a couple of standpoints. Number one, data doesn't lie. And so when you look at data, you can argue with the fact that, like, hey, I feel really great, but if the data says actually you've been diagnosed with like a really terrible lung issue, data doesn't lie. You can't go run a marathon right now, etc.
Right.
So in my case, you know, some of my takeaways I'm going to be from my audit from Caleb, and then also when Riff and I went and talked through like creativity and stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna kind of take from both of those streams. So some of them might be a little bit more data driven, but some of them might be more like your artistic philosophy. And
I love it.
Yeah, my hope is that that'll kind of go there. So let me actually put this to you, Andy. Why are you making YouTube videos? What's your goal? What's your purpose?
I've had this conversation on the channel a couple different times, especially with Q&As, but I started making YouTube videos because it was a way for me to express my creative side in filmmaking. So that actually was where I began doing my fun B-roll segments, starting to pace my stuff towards music, because I had come from a film background, and it kind of felt to me like it was a really good match together to work towards that. But I think what I've realized really quickly is that though there's been a nice gain of audience over the last 4 years, nothing has really spiked, and I've really pushed that film side and maybe not done as much information side. And as much as I love all my cool B-roll shots, from my analytics that I've seen, people are like, I'm out.
That's something we're going to get into for sure.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a really good thing to be critical of, is we'll go to that when we get there.
Sure.
But so if I could summarize what I heard, it sounds like you're saying the reason you're doing this is because it's creatively expressive and fun.
Yes, but I also will not lie. I think, like I said early on, in this group of YouTubers that have been struggling for a while, I want to also get noticed. I want what I share to be out to the audiences. And I use this analogy a lot, but you wouldn't write a symphony to play to no one. And that's so right. A lot of times when you put, now what a symphony is a whole nother story. But when you put all your own effort into it, you're like, this is my masterpiece. I'm going to put it out to the world. I hope people love it. And when it essentially falls flat, it is really hard to not take that and kind of as a gut punch. So I know those are things that happens to a lot of YouTubers out there.
Right. I mean, it can feel so personal when people are like, oh, I'm just not interested or whatever. But also, I think one of the things that people have to realize really quickly is the amount of hours you put into making something does not necessitate someone's needs to watch it or engage. That in and of itself is not a good enough reason for people to stick around, even though your heart and soul is there, even though your time is there. I think that that's just part of sometimes people, I will see posts like, man, I spent 40 hours working on this video and no one watched it, as though you're putting 40 hours into the video is supposed to be a reason for me to want to watch it. Right. And I appreciate what that sentiment is saying. But at the end of the day, this is the difficulty that we're all in. Every day, every month, millions, not a couple hundred, not a couple thousand, millions of brand new videos of millions of human experiences are uploaded every day. And here you are, and here I am, putting stuff out in a very specific niche. We are not in a broad topic. Not everyone knows. I was at the post office shipping out something to somebody, and in it was a retro game, and I had to put the price of what it was on, and they looked at it and they're like, old games are, wait, people still play old games? Like, this is not a common thing. So out of the millions, you're already swimming in a medium-ish sized pond, and not a big thing, as opposed to being like a Fortnite streamer or whatever the thing might be. Or I mean, even those references might already be outdated by this point. But so you're already and then within that space of retro, people seem to be pretty kind and warm and friendly and welcoming. And positive, but it's still, the biggest people in retro, you know, what would be maybe AVGN?
Yeah, I mean, I actually always talk about this, that there's kind of generations of the retro gaming scene. These are the godfathers and then the fathers, and now we're like third or fourth generation trying to talk about maybe the same things over and over again too.
Right.
So, yeah.
But that's what's interesting. And that's where I think it really comes to you is, what is your voice going to be on all of those things? If I connect to you as an audience member, I want to see, you know, oh, Andy's tastes are similar to mine. And so then it makes me want to watch what you have to say about that game, which we're also going to get into in 2 minutes. What are some channels on YouTube that whenever they upload, you click as soon as you can?
So this is a big YouTuber. A lot of people might know him. His name's Peter McKinnon. He's based out of Canada, and it's all filmmaking. Everything's filmmaking about it, but he tells wonderful stories. And I've really noticed that I have wanted to mimic. In fact, even some of my friends that are into it are like, the Peter McKinnon of gaming. You know, here comes Pac-Man Case. But I don't think I've learned how to marry those like very well together. But that's my inspiration is him. And then dude, Kevin Kinson. If you've ever watched Kevin Kinson as a retro gamer or even gamer, his delivery is incredible. So I would say those are two. Yeah.
He's so perfectly edited. There's it's all killer, no filler. Even his long stuff, it's always to the point. Then his stuff production wise is gold standard. Like if I could get my stuff to look half that good,
right,
I would be like, we're good. We're okay.
Those are the wishes. Yeah.
So filmmaking, and what is it that you like about Kevin?
So honestly, Kevin's cadence and demeanor is something that I find really easy to watch.
These Nintendo Switch controllers do not drift.
So whenever he's talking, it feels flawless. It definitely feels like it's a relaxed dude just talking to you about his love for video games. And it doesn't feel like it's a crazy script. He is a very fast talker though, but somehow he's able to accomplish this at the same time while getting the information out. And I don't feel a sense of urgency or rushness from him. So I found that to be crazy. I would love to even have a 1/10 of that talent.
But that compels you to want to watch all of his uploads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. So, so one thing is filmmaking and one thing is production and delivery, and those two things really excite you, and you jump on those right away. Already, I can think of something that I want us to bookmark this and come back to it later.
Okay.
But I think that idea of who you are as a filmmaker, because that filmmaker means something to me very specifically. I don't know what that means to you.
Sure.
What that means to me is understanding of narrative, using the camera to communicate feelings and to make sequences and things come together where there's a beginning, middle, and end to a narrative thread, or a playing with those tropes, and bringing that in with retro games. That's a really interesting idea of how you could do that. And I think if you could do it well, there is a huge emotional payoff to the viewer. And also maybe even a cathartic one for the creator. So we'll come back to that. Let's just talk about just overall general impressions, things that I like about your channel that just stand out to me as real positives. First of all, you said that you pride yourself on production and intros in our messaging. And you said those are the two things you identify as strengths. How did you assess that your production and your intros are strengths for your channel? Is that feedback you've gotten? Is that something?
Yes. That all came from comments from the YouTube audience. That would be, your intros are fabulous, king of intros. Like, oh my God, if I don't even want to do my game room tour now because you just made this video. Like, so I heard a lot of fun and exciting things about how those intros happen, but then I would put all my effort into those intros. Yes.
Okay. Which you can really feel when I watch your videos. The intros themselves feel like there's some of your heart is showing differently than when you're talking about the games. And I think that the depth of energy and time that's in there is something that if we can find a way to capitalize on that more, I think it will go farther. And I'll tell you what I mean by that here as we go on. I think your stuff looks great. I've always admired people who know how to use like creative lighting. Like right now you've got the blues behind you, and all of your videos have a really good visually clean look. It's not cluttered, it's not messy with a bunch of crap.
I've had the back game wall before. Yeah,
I know, and it's a bit of a trope for this genre as well, which what are you gonna do? But but your stuff looks super clean and looks really good. So I think that's definitely that's high praise. I also think that as far as the way that you deliver your information, the cadences in your voice, the way you talk with your hands, the way that like you throw in your Andyisms, you know, what's up my pack rats, or your inflections, they suggest and communicate that you are excited to be on camera, which by default communicates to me that I'm at least at the very least interested in watching that. Some people who have monotone voices and hey, what's up guys, I'm so excited to be here. It's a little bit harder to stay with that because you have to learn how to raise your voice and how to lower to communicate. Like you do that now. I think you're you come across very comfortably, and that's really good. So and
I fooled you.
Well, say that now, but wait till we get to this stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Put the gloves on.
I love it. Bring it, Mort. Get me.
All right, let's just go with a couple of critiques. And these are just general overall critiques that I saw across all your videos. Number one, and again, let's talk granular. Your camera angle, you're often looking up. And I am. Yeah, you're right. Yes. And I don't know why. And this might just be a really subtle thing, but where you place the camera, if I'm looking down at you, there's almost like an unconscious power kind of exchange in that moment. Or if you're looking down at me, and you would know this as a filmmaker, if you're filming a scene from an authority figure, you might have the camera slightly facing down to suggest there's power in that image. If I'm looking like up, in fact, in the Wii Essentials video, you're like holding up the game like this, like kind of like, can you see this? It's almost like, what are you, 12? So like, you know, there's a part of that that's
I'm just a short midget. No one's ever known it. I love it.
I think it's a small thing, but I would encourage you to just get as eye level as you can so that it feels conversational, because the nature of your videos is very conversational. So Andy, one of the things that really helps, at least in my opinion, with retention is cutting out as much dead space and as many ums and ahs as you can, because what that is doing is it really slows things down. And it's the worst part of editing is because you're cutting out every granular, but that's why the J&L cuts exist, is like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the more you keep going, the more that it keeps you on. So when you say something like, so I love Bayonetta's guns, and you know, one of the things that I like that, and
it just like, stops the momentum.
I always will put a B-roll or something over my stuff, and I notice it on other people's videos. Just get it going. So something to consider.
No, that's a great one. I don't know if people actually take that as serious as they should, because I know when I edit, I hear it and I'm like, I just don't have a good, like, maybe my cadence was screwed up just enough that when I do cut that out, then it feels awkward. And I'm somebody that if I mess up, I come back and I don't have the same energy level. So the cut sometimes will be like, I love this game because it is my favorite game. And like, I can feel that when I do the cut. So I remember sometimes like as a sacrifice, a blade. I hear you. I can relate to that, you know, but I think it's in the one take where you have all the same energy. I would play with it a little bit. It might add a few more hours to your edits per video, but that few more hours might translate into better retention, which ultimately translates into more viewership. And it might arguably, it's got to be laziness. I think as an editor too, I'm just like, I got to take out all of the. I know that's going to take too long. You know what? No one will care. And then you realize, yes, they do. They do care about that stuff. So,
and that's again, like the camera angle, like everything else. This is like just small little things that just with slight refinements, you might find your video just gets better and better for the viewer. So
no, I appreciate that.
I think one of the videos you sent me had some cutaways in it, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. I think your timing on your cutaways, I learned this early on. I noticed it on one of your videos. the first one you sent me. I don't think it was on the other 3.
Okay.
Cutaways in general, I love cutaways because I love showing favorite films, favorite TV shows,
nostalgia drop,
all of that. However, I think the gold standard. Have you watched girlfriend reviews at all?
No, you talked to me about it, and I haven't had a chance, but I know you've talked it up, so I feel like it's really worth it.
It is. I think they epitomize how to do a cutaway, meaning that every cutaway that they do and every cutaway that every creator should do should add to the momentum. So like, for example, if you go, we were out thrift store hunting and I found this Pee Wee Herman thing, and then you cut to a scene from Pee Wee Herman and he says a line, that's going to kill your momentum and kill your flow because it's adding nothing to that moment. But if you said, I was out looking and I found this Pee Wee Herman thing, and you cut to a scene of Pee Wee Herman out looking at something, and then he goes, like that is integrated into your storyline rather than a parallel adjacent to.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
Some of the way to think about cutaways is to kind of think about, is this furthering my narrative, or is this just running parallel to it? So it's like just putting in a Family Guy joke because it's like kind of funny is
right.
It's not good. So I would encourage you to when you do cutaways, because they're a great tool, they can really add a lot. Matt McMuscles does this a lot with his cutaways as well with The Simpsons, where he'll be talking about something and then it'll cut to Homer explaining a predicament at work, and you realize that the predicament at work is so similar to the predicament about the development of some game.
Sure.
There you go. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Something to think about. Watch girlfriend reviews. I think they do it the best. Let's talk about your intros.
Okay. It's my baby.
Andy,
it's my baby.
Andy, to quote Hayden Hillier-Smith, you need to kill the golden boy.
I know. I knew you were going to say it, and it makes me so sad because I love doing them and it gives me so much passion. But the analytics tell me everything I need to know, to be honest.
They do, and I saw in some of the analytics you sent me during your intros, people are leaving, and you don't need to kill. This is the thing, and this is so critical to understand. I'm not saying this to kill your intros because they're bad. I'm not saying that. Right. I'm saying to. And not even kill your intro. Let's just say rethink your intro. But the way that you do those, the way that you do those shots, the way that you put that stuff together, when you switch to talking head Andy, you should be running those shots then. You should not be running those shots at the intro.
Interesting.
So while you're talking about the history of the Nintendo Wii, because I'm like on that video, I think it's a minute and almost 2 minutes exactly before you actually get to the video.
I have honestly, Mort, I have had people comment like they'll put a link when the video starts and they're like, just skip, it's 2 minutes of bullshit. And I'm just like, and it sucks because I love it, but I absolutely understand if you're coming for information, you don't get it until that 2 or 3 minute mark.
Well, I mean, it could be interesting. Do a video of just intros and
just see if that catches. Well, you know what's sad about that is my love for editing with music. And so that's really where that came from, is I actually will pick my tracks before I film anything. So it'll be important to me.
I can tell, but I have a comment about your music too that I think could go farther than where you're taking it now.
Sure.
So what I would encourage you to think about for your intros, it's like with all these things, YouTube is not TV, is not films, is not, home videos. It's YouTube. Yeah. And if what your goal is to get noticed on YouTube, you're working with an audience, whether they're middle-agers like me or my teenage nephews who love to play Fortnite. You're working with a rapidly deteriorating attention span, and like it or not, this is the hard pill to swallow. You can fight against the system and say, I wish it wasn't this way, or you can learn to adapt to it. And learning to adapt to what the system is may not be as bad as you think it is either. And in fact, it may, like when you write a book, or if you read a story, the best writers say the most things with the least amount of words.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah.
And really, truly, I think great artists really think about the impact of what they're making by the amount of what is being said, and they know how to like decrease that to just get to the essentials and get rid of the fluff. In fact, there's several points in your videos where you go, so like I was saying, don't say it. You've already said it. The only times to do that is if you really need to re-say something, because that's integral to the narrative of your video.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that is my hardest pill to swallow, is being able to still, because I want to still love what I do. So when I do a YouTube video, and let's say it's one that just bombs, the viewership is not there, at least I got to do a beautiful intro and I got to enjoy the craft.
So let's talk, what do you love about your intros? When I say that, I mean, what do you love about making the intros?
So I have always thought, when I was starting YouTube and I started working a little bit and learning a little bit more of the craft of ramping up, slow-mo, this, kind of telling the story of making gaming sexy again, that was important to me, to basically, like, I want to invoke something as you watch this video, this intro, that you're like, wow, that was a beautiful console. I remember that controller. These shots are really clean. They're smooth. They go with the music. So that's why I've done it for so long. But now I have tried to, in the last couple of YouTube videos, tried to trim it down. I used to have like a minute and a half of these like intros. And so I brought them down to maybe like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It's still too long though, from what I can tell. So,
well, but maybe it's taking that same passion and just applying it differently. It's not about killing that passion. It's about making it land with the thing that you're trying to make. So as someone who's just watching your stuff, and if I'm getting bored during this thing that you're like, whoa, look at how cool this is. Yeah. Maybe there's just a different way to show that off. And maybe there are times to say, let's, like even like the Creative Ways GameSacks does this, where they will show a console being pulled apart, and then you're sort of seeing all the different insides of the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo and the chips and all of that. Like, whoa, this is crazy. They found this stop motion way to do that. Or let's go to your favorite. Let's go to Kevin Kenson. He's talking about the Nintendo Wii or the Switch, and you've got these beautiful, just like angled shots going down, but he's talking while that's happening.
Yeah, the whole time.
As he's talking about it, and you're getting the image, rather than looking at his face while he's talking about it, you're looking at the image. It really cements home, like, this thing is really cool, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that's like the kind of thing you could do. The music part is the other thing that you said you loved. That's the trickier one. I noticed that I think it's good. Your taste in music is good. There aren't cringy tracks that I've heard in your videos. But at the same time, you set your music and then you let it run. I would encourage you to work with your music a little more than you're currently working. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if you are saying something for emphasis, consider cutting off the music for that moment so that I just hear your voice, and then bring the music back in. I think that would make the music feel even more dynamic than just cool song, cool stuff we're talking about. But that's the kind of stuff that I would encourage you to think about with your music as well, and how you can deepen that. So that would be one of the music thoughts. Let's talk about another thing that your videos really need, and I think will just make it so much better, Andy. You have no hook at the beginning of your videos, and there's no narrative tension anywhere at the beginning. And a hook doesn't mean that there's artificial suspense, but there's just a way to invoke curiosity. So here's the 6 essential Wii games. You wouldn't expect these ones to be picked. I bet one of these is going to be controversial. Or, I mean, the cheat code on this is, go to one part of your video that's like, ooh, that's a little bit leading. Like, I can't believe no one talks about this game. And that's the very opening of your video is, I can't, something like that. But in each of your videos, it's like, this is what we're going to do. I'm super excited. I'm super happy. Okay, that's cool. But like, there's no emotional tension at the beginning of it. And that can be hard to do, like, and I'm not saying that always works, but no, I noticed that that's one of those things that could really get your retention up just at the beginning and keep it a little higher, is just give me a reason or a purpose behind this, other than you're a collector, you're passionate, which is great, which is what I love about you in your videos. But can you pull anything more that drives that for me?
Well, so it's funny you brought this up. So I've noticed that in doing it. So I've tried to change, especially with the N64 score. So starting that series, I started that first episode where I find the bin of N64 games, and that's what you saw. And then we came back to it in the story. That episode had the most in a single day that I've ever had from a view count. So, and the analytics showed that retention as well.
You didn't send me that video, but I watched it when it came out.
Yeah.
I commented on it.
Yeah.
That was my favorite video of any of the ones that you've done so far because of those reasons. There was something that was like, oh, there's a reason that he's looking for these games. He's got, Andy is this guy who has every video game ever made in his house.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have these ones.
Right.
That's cool. Like, I want to know, like, you know, would maybe an attention thing you could do is to look through your collection now and go, I'm not really, you know, let's say that the PS1 is a system you don't really care about, but you've got some high dollar games in there. Maybe you could create some kind of tension around which games should I sell in order to pick up the heavy hitter N64 ones.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff like that is like, that's all hooks. That's all tension. That would be really exciting for me as a viewer. And also it could just be cathartic to just kind of go, I don't need this. And you know, whatever. But that's all. I think that's the kind of idea I think that would be like, at the beginning, give me some steaks and you know, and not the delicious kind. Terrible stuff.
No, it was good.
I grabbed the fruit right off the tree and I just did it.
And you know what I should do is I will put a really bad cutaway of a steak that does not work with the story right here. And now everybody wants steak. No, so I love it. I even know that when you were doing your with Riff and you guys were discussing these things, that's one of the first things you said is you said Pac-Man Case is working on this 64 score that feels very story driven.
I mentioned it.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned it.
Yeah,
and I remember.
For anyone, by the way, for anyone who's yelling at me through the screen going, you leave Andy alone. I promoted him in my other channel. I comment on I'm a fan of Andy.
No, man, Mort has been awesome. He reached out to me. You've definitely helped me along the way, but I feel like some of these things, you know, when you just know, right? You know what you should do. Just do it. And if it feels off, it feels like it's lagging. One thing I struggle with, and you might too as an editor, is I need a fresh pair of eyes sometimes. Like I'll go through an edit and I'll just be like, something feels off and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I should be switching or cutting these things, but my wife, she's wonderful and my friends are wonderful, but they never give it to me straight, right? That's always like, oh yeah, it's a great video. You did a really good job. That's wonderful. And you're like, I mean, I need some constructive criticism here.
No, I think, and I think it's first of all, kudos to you for opening yourself up to getting just any feedback like this and desiring it. It suggests that you're passionate about making great stuff. I mean, that's evident in you, Andy. And I think that's, some people are just uploading garbage and you aren't. You're trying to upload good stuff. And I think that's really good.
Listen, man, I know we've talked about a lot of things and I know we could probably chat about this for hours on end. But even just what you've been able to provide for me being a first year YouTuber, right? But I know you've dove in and took this stuff a lot more seriously than I think a lot of YouTubers do. And even people that are just doing this for a fun hobby, hopefully you can take some of the knowledge that I've learned from Mort, that he's learned from other people, and apply it to your own videos. Because I will definitely change the way that I'm going to be going and approaching content going forward. So I have to say thank you, my friend, so much for taking your time out. I appreciate everything that you did. And if you ever see a video and you can tell me the truth on it, I'm waiting.
Well, hey, and Andy, you're a great person. Keep making stuff. Keep on and growing and improving. The day we finish improving is the day we're no longer on this earth. And so whatever it means to keep on continuing. And kudos to you for putting yourself out there so vulnerably to say, take some shots. Let's see what we got. It's all from love and it's all from making all of us better. Ignore what I'm saying or do what I'm saying. Whatever you do, I'm honored to be asked to speak into your creativity. I know it's a sacred space for anyone who makes stuff.
Sure.
Like, I'm making stuff. What do you think? Like,
it's a scary one, I think, for a lot of people, but the things that I've learned today, I would love to apply. And again, a pay it forward technique to like the next colleague that might want to have like an audit of their channel. we'd love to kind of help out the community. So Mort, thank you, brother. You're the best. Be well. Take care.
Wait, is that how you do it? Like the love?
Is it? We got it? No. What? Looks. And I'm holding a hoagie. I don't know.
Mine's a sandwich too. It's just shaped like a heart.
It's a heart sandwich. All right. Thanks, buddy. Bye. Hey guys, what an awesome experience that was to be able to discuss the channel with Mort. Not only did he give me some tips and tricks, but Morton has only been doing this for a year, and I can only imagine where his channel will go. So to be able to have that feedback from someone like Mort was absolutely awesome, and I am honored. So thank you again, my friend. I really appreciate it. Guys, I would love this to be a series that pays it forward. It does not have to be me, but I think it's important for us to possibly audit each other's channels, really elevate and make each other better, because it will not only make YouTube fun, but also our retro gaming space will be even more enjoyable and entertaining to watch for everybody's videos. So Mort and I could have talked for hours about the channel. There will be an extended cut that I release later where Mort and I really dive into the analytics and the details of each video. But for right now, I hope you guys gain some knowledge on this. And I hope this helps you produce a better video going forward as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.